Hello friends, and welcome back to your mat. Today is February 1st, so we are back with another daily practice routine for the month of February. For this month, I'm gonna have us focusing on hamstring flexibility. So all the poses that we'll be incorporating have to do with our hamstrings as well as other things, but the hamstrings are the focus. So let's go ahead and get started in building our February practice. So the first thing that we want to do in setting up our at-home practice is we want to set up our environment. So that might mean, like I said last month, rolling out the mat and getting on it and being good to go. That's a great way to get started. Another way could be that you put on some music that you really enjoy that helps calm you down, or lighting some candles, dimming the lights, whatever that means to you. Go ahead and set up your environment. The second thing we'll be doing here to cultivate our at-home practice is setting our intention and starting our breath work. So this is kind of the start of our practice. So I would encourage taking up a seat that's easy for you, something that feels really good to settle into. Sitting up nice and tall, we always want that good posture, right? And then settling into our breath, noticing how we're feeling, what rhythm of breath feels the best, and setting our intention. So our intention might be something around feeling more grateful throughout our day, or it could be around having more patience with our body here on our mat in these next few minutes. But those are the next steps. Tapping into our breathing and setting our intention. Now from here, we're gonna move into the breath work that I have for February, and it's very, very simple. It's just pursed lips breathing, which means that we're gonna sit up nice and tall. We'll do a little example together. And as we inhale, we'll inhale through the nose, and we're gonna exhale through the mouth, but through pursed lips. So go ahead and just kind of close the lips. We'll leave a little opening and blow right out. Almost as if you're blowing out a candle or cooling off hot chocolate. Think of it in that way. But let's go ahead and inhale here for 3 counts. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhale through those pursed lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Really good. As we're doing that breath work through our pursed lips, we do want to try to make our exhales a little bit longer than our inhales. So go ahead and do that for a few rounds as you get yourself started in your practice at home. Okay, so from here, we're gonna move into our poses. So just like last month, I have 4 simple poses for us to kind of work through in our February practice, but we're gonna start in Heron's pose. So Heron's pose is our first pose. I'm gonna give us 2 ways that we can go about doing it. The first is we're gonna send our right leg out long here and bend our left knee towards the ceiling. Again, check in with that great posture. Shoulders are back, crown lifted, and we're gonna hold on to our left foot here and start to straighten it towards the ceiling. Now we want to make sure that our shoulders are drawn back and that we're getting the leg as straight as we can. But again, that can mean that we have a good bend in it, or it could mean that maybe we're not holding on to the foot itself to accommodate that extension, but maybe we're holding on underneath the calf instead to support ourselves. But we're here in Heron. Alternatively in Heron, we could also take our knee here and bend it back so that our sole of our foot is kind of either facing up or facing in towards the body. And we're finding that extension into Heron here as well. Wherever we are, we want to make sure our shoulders are down and back, and we've got a nice tall spine here. But that's our first pose, Heron pose. Our second pose for the February practice will be downward facing dog. Now in our downward facing dog, we'll begin with our palms down on the mat, tuck the toes, and send the tailbone up and back here. Let's go ahead and check in with our alignment. We always want to make sure we have good alignment here for the spine and for our big muscle groups as well, like the arms and the legs. But let's go ahead and scoop our elbow creases forward so that the eyes of our elbow are shining towards the top of our mat. Our neck is in line with our spine, tailbone is high, and our gaze is falling between our heels. Now we have the option here, of course, to bend the knees so that the belly can be flush against the tops of the thighs if that feels better. But the option is yours because this is your at-home practice. But this is our second posture, downward facing dog. And as you're in it, you may find that holding it statically like this feels the best, or you may find that maybe walking the dog by pedaling the feet feels really good, or maybe like creating some circles, just experimenting with the pose. This is your practice, and I hope that you're as creative as you want to be with it. The third pose for this February practice will be a simple standing forward fold. So maybe you move from your downward facing dog by walking your feet towards your hands and finding yourself in that forward fold, or maybe you stand all the way up and walk right into it. But wherever you are, let's go ahead and hinge at the hips, coming down into the fold, and bring our arms down in front of us. And then just like with the downward facing dog, you have your own option to put your flare on it. So maybe you're allowing the arms to hang or creating some sways here, allowing gravity to make you extra heavy. Or maybe you're taking up ragdoll, bringing opposite elbow into opposite hand. Good. Wherever you are, you're in your standing forward fold. And for our fourth and final position here in our February practice, we're going to do pyramid pose. Now we want to make sure, of course, that we're doing all of these postures on both sides. So heron and pyramid will need to be practiced twice, on the right and then on the left. But for our pyramid, we'll step forward with our right foot. We'll step back with our left here for our example. Both sets of toes are facing the front edge of the mat. Bring your fingertips to your hip bones so that we can give a little bit of tension as we hinge forward here. Good. We're going to create a nice flat back to start, just kind of gauging how we feel, and then drop our hands down towards the mat. You may find that this feels extra good and really stretches the hamstrings, or you may find that you bring your palms down to the mat or come atop your fingertips or maybe some blocks. But wherever you are, begin to bow your head down towards your right knee, and we are here in our pyramid pose. All right, so those were the 4 poses. We went ahead and we did heron pose, we did downward facing dog, we did a standing forward fold, and we did pyramid. And we want to make sure we do those heron and pyramid on both sides. To end our at-home practice, we're going to end with the same breath work. So take up a nice mountain stance, just feet hip width distance apart, shoulders are back. Invite your hands to your belly so you can feel what's going on. And we're going to, again, do that pursed lipped breathing here, making our inhales nice and full and our exhales just a touch longer. And that's the February practice. So with this February practice, it's designed very loosely so that you can put your own spin on things, maybe add in other poses that you want to do. Or if you're just running low on time and you're like, I want a couple of things I can do on my mat that's going to take me about 10 minutes. This is the kind of practice that's for you. So I hope that you like it. I hope that it brings you lots of joy on your mat this month, and I can't wait to see you back in March.